Good morning, students. Very hearty welcome to GC Tech Hub CS tutorials. In today's class, we are going to discuss two things. That is, first one will be the fiber optic cable standards, because we have already covered fiber optic cables, the basic part, and as well as coaxial cables in our previous online lecture. So in this lecture, we are going to cover fiber optic cables, its standards, and we will start with unguided media, and in unguided media we are going to discuss radio waves. So let us all begin with the class. So as you can see over here, we have certain standards of fiber optic cables which we had already discussed in the previous class. We have the multi-mode step index, we have the multi-mode graded index, and we have the single mode. As we had already discussed about what is the total internal reflection, okay, and how total internal reflection concept is used for transmitting the light source from the source to the destination in case of fiber optic cables. So we had studied its different types, and hence these are the different types in a nutshell, where we can see that this is the most suitable type, that is single mode, although it is quite expensive than the others. Today we are going to discuss some fiber optic cable standards. So various standards are used for fiber optic cables, and it is available in the market under different categories and different standards, and each standard has its own specification, its own pricing, its cost, and it has its own advantages and disadvantages. So here we can see that multi-mode graded index, it is available as type 50 by 125. Its core is 50 micrometers, cladding is 125 micrometers. And similarly, we can see that multi-mode graded index, it has its core as 62.5, which is a slightly more than multi-mode graded index. So you can see that multi-mode graded index is available in three different forms, three different standards, where the core is the largest, that is almost near, core is very wide in case of multi-mode graded index, because you can see its diameter, which is almost near to the diameter of the cladding. And the single mode, you can see the core is very small, it has a very less diameter. There is a vast difference between the diameter of core and the cladding, because of which you can see that uh, already the core is very small, so there would be it just forces the light beam to move in a straight path. So this is the best medium, and it is available in this type, that is 7 by 125, where the first value refers to the core and the core diameter, and the second value refers to the cladding diameter. So this is how these standard cables are available in the market. So if you want to purchase any of these cables, you just have to speak out these types. You have to tell which type you want, and you will be getting that type. Now you can see over here we have the fiber optic construction, the cable construction, that is the internal cross section of the cable, what it is comprised of. So you can see that this is the glass fiber which you are able to see here. This is the glass fiber which extends from its tip to its base, and the base is in fact very long. It's just the part, each part which has been exposed, so for better visibility. So in the center you have the glass or plastic core, and at the edges you have the cladding, and usually plastic is a bit cost effective and bit inexpensive as compared to glass, so sometimes plastic fibers are also used for this. And then you have the plastic buffer, which is an outer insulator or an outer layer for protecting this core and cladding. And you have a DuPont Kevlar, which is a special material which is used for extra strength, for providing strength to the cable, as well as for making the cable less susceptible to noise or disturbance from external sources. and you have an outer jacket which protects the entire, protects as well as encases the entire optic fiber optic cable. Now some connectors are also used. Now what is the main task of the connectors? So the connectors are actually the cable terminators. Terminators, and in the sense they don't actually resemble the Terminator shown in the movie Terminator, but it's actually they are what which end the cable and which stop the signal from leaking out of the exposed area of the cable, because cable usually runs for a finite length. So at the ends of it, from the ends of it, it is quite possible that signal might leak out. Hence, to track the signal inside the cable, we use the cable connectors, also known as terminators. Sometimes they are terminators, that is when we don't need to attach this end to any other cable or any other uh, plug or anything, or any other device or any port, then we need to stop the leak of the signal, so we use a terminator. And sometimes we need to attach this end to some other cable or to a port into a device, or we also need to insert it into any other medium. So for that purpose we need what? Cable connectors. So we have three types of connectors here. One is the SC connector, which is also known as the standard connector or subscriber connector. You have the ST connector, which is known as the straight tip connector, where you can see there is the central core and cladding which is exposed, and it is just connected into the other female connector. And here you have the other one, that is mechanical transfer register jack MTRJ connector, which provides a maximum of a connection to a maximum of 12 fibers. So this is the most popular form of the connector for fiber optic cables and very easily available in the market also. Fiber construction. So in the center you have the core and cladding, then you have the buffer, then you have the outer jacket, and somewhat it looks like this. Some advantages. So it is usually immune to electrical and magnetic interference, that is noise in any form, because the information is traveling on a modulated light beam. So it is quite immune to electrical and electromagnetic interference, because light is not affected by that. Highly suitable for harsh industrial environments, guarantees secure transmission and has a very high transmission capacity that we have already seen. Fiber optic cables can be used for broadband transmission, where several channels are handled in parallel and where it is possible to mix data transmission with channels for telescope, graphics, TV and sound. So various different, you can combine different channels, that is different types of data running across different light rays, and all of that could be modulated into one single light beam, and hence we say that data from multiple channels can run in parallel without affecting each other. Some disadvantages. Installation problem. Firstly, fiber optic cables are not very flexible, and hence because of which if you just try to bend it more than its capacity, it may lead into breaking the fiber optic cable and rendering it totally unusable for any task. Connecting either two fibers together or a light source is a different process, and you need specialized technicians for doing that. Because of noise immunity, they are virtually impossible to tap. That is, if you want to attach something or tap in the center of the cable, somewhat like this, if you want to tap into it and connect any device, this is impossible because of its extra protective layers which are used in it. So you have to normally cut the cable. You will have to cut the cable and insert a detector, or you have to attach additional connectors or terminators for tapping into the cable. Connection losses are common, difficult to solder, most expensive. Now, connection loss is different from noise or interference. Connection losses could be possible because of some problem with the light source, or sometimes because it is bent too much, and normally it doesn't bend near the corner, so you have to be very careful. Difficult to solder, and it is the most expensive form of transmission, the guided transmission medium. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages of fiber optic cables as we have seen. Next is we are going to start with unguided media, that is the wireless media. So unguided media, we already know that they are wireless media. Because of that, it is they don't use any form of guide or a proper cable or a channel. They are in the form of radio waves, infrared waves, Bluetooth. Okay, so unguided media transport electromagnetic waves without using a physical conductor. This type of communication is always often referred to as wireless communication. Some topics which we would be discussing in this section are radio waves, microwaves, and infrared. So you can first see the electromagnetic spectrum for wireless communication. So we start from 3 kilohertz and we are ending at 900 terahertz, which is the highest frequency. So you can always see that. Now what is frequency? Now frequency is the it is the repetition of a signal. If it's a repetition of a wave, and it tells how many times a wave repeats itself in a definite amount of time. Like for example, this is the time and this is your intensity. So if you plot the waves on it, it would be like this. So this means one frequency, that is, it is one complete cycle. This is one cycle of an analog wave, or you can also say a sine wave. Okay, this is these sine waves, these are actually what? These are radio waves which travel, right? So not just radio waves, I'm sorry, I won't use the term radio waves, they are electromagnetic waves which are created by the electric medium and the magnetic medium, electric field and the magnetic field, both acting perpendicular to each other. So because of this, you have magnetic waves and combining with the electric waves. So this creates an electromagnetic wave. And when a wave completes one cycle, this is known as one occurrence. And when you repeat this cycle, so you can see that there are two cycles which are forming here. This is first cycle, this is the second cycle, right? So when the cycle repeats itself within a period of time, like for example, we will count the number of times it repeats itself in 1 second. So here, if I just draw it, if I just plot it, we can see very well that this wave repeats itself 4 times in 1 second. So its frequency will be 4, right? So this is what I was talking about. So here, the more the frequency, it means that the more is the repetition of the wave within a particular time frame. Suppose this is 1 second time frame. So here you can see that the wave repeats itself so many times. So the frequency is high. And because the frequency is high, hence distance traveled by the wave, like the distance from this part to this part, it is known as wavelength. And wavelength is represented by lambda, which is inversely proportional to frequency. Okay, so over here wavelength is inversely proportional to frequency, that is higher the wavelength, lower will be the frequency. So here you can see that the wavelength is less because the amount of the distance traveled by the wave, covered by the wave in one cycle, it is less if the frequency is more. And if you increase the frequency, you can see that the wavelength is more. Got it? So less the frequency, more will be the wavelength, and more the frequency, less will be the wavelength. More frequency, less wavelength. Less frequency, more wavelength. The distance between the two crests, these are the crests. The distance between two crests is known as a wavelength. So you can just consider it like this. Okay. So this is the distance traveled by one propagation of the wave, that is in one cycle. So these are the rules which we have to keep in mind. So more the frequency, less would be the distance traveled and by the wave, and less the frequency, more will be the distance traveled. So here we can see that towards this area, this is 3 kilohertz and this is 900 terahertz. So the frequency is more towards this side, that is towards light wave. So light wave over here, at this point, you can say that the wavelength is less, whereas here the wavelength is more, right? Although radio waves also travel at the speed of light. We know that traveling is different and wavelength is something different. So here we have radio waves and microwaves which vary between 3 kilohertz and 300 gigahertz. Then you have infrared which vary between 300 gigahertz and 400 terahertz. And between 400 terahertz and 900 terahertz we have the light wave. So now let's see how it works. These waves, they propagate at different frequencies. Like very low frequency, you can see that its range is 3 to 30 kilohertz, and usually its propagation is ground propagation. That is, so here you can see very low frequency, that is, it usually travels like this along the curvature of the earth. Right. So because it has a longer wavelength, hence it can travel longer distances without having the need of any specific device which would help in its propagation. So normally these waves they travel closer to the Earth's surface. So they are very low frequency and normally used for long range radio navigation, radio beacons, navigational locators, usually used by naval forces, okay, who have to travel most of the time over the sea. Then MF, that is middle frequency, which is AM radio, HF high frequency, which is citizens band, ship, aircraft communication. So they have sky propagation, that is normally it would be like you will have two ground stations and your beam would, the radio waves would just travel, they will hit the ionosphere, and from there it would be reflected back to the earth. So this is sky propagation. Here also the waves travel a little less distance as compared to your the very low frequency waves, because their wavelength is a bit lesser as compared to the very low frequency. Sorry, because their frequency is higher than the very low frequency waves or and the low frequency waves, so their wavelength would be lesser as compared to them. Then as frequency increases, you can see that the propagation changes into line of sight. That is, both antennas should be in line of sight with each other to be able to communicate without any obstacle in between. So that is known as line of sight communication. So wireless transmission waves are usually divided into three types: radio waves, microwaves and infrared waves. Radio waves are used for multicast communications like radio and television, paging systems. They can penetrate through walls because usually they have higher wavelengths, so they can easily, this makes penetration into walls possible. And highly regulated. They are highly regulated, so you can even send them using omnidirectional antennas, that is antennas which propagate in multiple directions. Antennas which emit radiation in multiple directions. Type of radio waves are a type of electromagnetic radiation with wavelengths in the electromagnetic spectrum longer than infrared light. Frequencies as high as 300 gigahertz and as low as 30 hertz. At 300 gigahertz, the wavelength is 1 millimeter, and at 30 hertz, it is 10,000 kilometers. So you can just see that when the wave frequency is low, the wavelength is high. So it is nearly 10,000 kilometers. So these waves could travel 10,000 kilometers without any medium, without any support. Whereas at higher frequencies, the wavelength is very less. So normally there the sender and the receiver, they have to be bit closer to each other. In case of higher wavelength, the sender and the receiver could be quite far apart from each other because of its higher wavelength, the waves will reach the waves would reach the destination, and they are usually very low energy waves. The higher the frequency, the wave becomes higher energy waves. Like the cosmic rays, we get radio waves from various sources. How are we able to communicate with space probes being sent into deep space? That is because of these high wavelength and low frequency radio waves. But there are also certain gamma rays which are high frequency, high energy radiation which is being emitted by distant pulsars and magnetars and neutron stars, which reaches the earth, and they are very high frequency waves, very high energy waves, because of which their amount of radiation is also very high. So nowadays research is going on to even use those high energy waves for purposes of communication, but there is only one flaw, that is they are those high energy waves always come with a risk of radiation poisoning. If high energy waves are used, no matter, they can even carry data in a better way, but there is always a health factor involved. There is always a risk to health, a health hazard which is involved in using them for communication. Hence, the best form of waves which could be used for communication till date are the radio waves and microwaves. Even microwaves, they are causing a lot of problems, lot of health problems, because of which even firstly, in most restaurants, most renowned restaurants, they don't prefer cooking food in microwave ovens. Rather, they prefer the conventional OTG ovens for doing that, right? So people are slowly shifting from the idea of cooking food in microwave ovens because it causes certain health problems in the long run. Just like continuous use of x-rays or very frequent use of x-rays on the body is also harmful for the cells. Like all other electromagnetic waves, radio waves travel at the speed of light. Naturally occurring radio waves are emitted by lightning and astronomical objects. As I already told you, there are certain stars which after death become rapidly spinning neutron stars. So they are the ones which emit radio waves which reach our earth, and they also emit high energy radiation which also reaches the earth, and normally we are able to communicate with our space probes with the help of radio waves. So it is generated artificially by transmitters received by radio receivers using antennas, very widely used in modern technology for fixed and mobile radio communication, broadcasting, radar and other navigation systems. They heavily use radio waves, even communication satellites, wireless computer networks and many other applications. Propagation. Different frequencies of radio waves have different propagation as I told you. Long waves can diffract around obstacles like mountains and follow the contour of the earth. That's what I explained to you, because our earth has a curvature. So these waves which have longer wavelength, they can travel along the curvature of the earth and they can also move past mountains or any obstacle in the way and reach their destination. If we have the source here, if we have the destination, they can reach the destination without the need of any support in between. Shorter waves can reflect off the ionosphere and return to earth beyond the horizon in the form of sky waves. That is, waves with slightly higher frequency than low frequency, very low and low frequency waves. So in those cases, what will happen? We can have antennas which can send the waves to the sky, that is in the ionosphere, which is one sphere, one layer of the atmosphere which contains charged particles, and from there it could be reflected back to the other ground station. So slightly less distance it can travel, okay, from source to destination, because it needs to be first propagated into the ionosphere. From there it will be reflected back. So this is sky propagation. And the last one, much shorter wavelengths, bend or diffract very little and travel along a line of sight. That is very high frequency waves. And these are medium frequency. So very high frequency waves, they generally require, they are not very flexible, so they cannot penetrate walls. Hence, they need a line of sight propagation. That is, both antennas, both the source and the destination should be in direct line of sight of each other, so that they could emit and transmit and receive signals, and there should be minimum or no obstacle in between. So this is known as line of sight propagation. Okay, so you can see it over here. This is the ground propagation. This is the ionosphere and this is the ground propagation, which uses omnidirectional antennas, so the radio waves easily travel along the curvature of the earth. This is sky propagation, where the antennas first transmit the radio waves which hit the ionosphere. From there they are reflected back and they are received by another antenna. And this is the line of sight propagation, where we need special type of antenna which are facing each other and they are using line of sight communication. So because of this very reason, infrared waves have very high frequency, even higher than microwaves. Hence, we use them in our remote controls. So the remote control has to be absolutely aligned in front of, exactly in front of our set-top box or the television or the air conditioner, so as to be able to send signals. Okay. So for radio waves, such omnidirectional antennas are used, which are able to emit radiation or emit radio waves in all directions. So with this, we complete radio waves today. We will be discussing about microwaves in our next class. So you might have understood how guided media is different from unguided media, and how radio waves can travel long distances, and because they can travel in long distances they can easily penetrate walls because their wavelength is more. And Because of this, it is quite easy for us to listen to FM radio. Also, we can be sitting anywhere inside the house. Although you might have seen, you might have noticed it yourself that whenever you are sitting in a very closed space, which is somewhat away from your balcony or away from the window, you might be facing problems while speaking to someone. That is, you might experience a frequent call drops, or there could be no absolutely no network coverage there. You might be constantly getting this message, and sometimes even the quality of the call is not very apt. It's There is a lot of disturbance when you are talking to someone. There is a noise or kind of a very the voice seems to break in between. So these are the some of the disturbances caused when you are not getting the appropriate signal. So although radio waves can penetrate the walls, but there is also a limit to this. So but still radio waves can travel a long distance as compared to microwaves. So and also you might have seen that the person whom you want to talk to, you get connected to that person only, because there are different channels, and different channels are bifurcated based on the frequencies on which they operate along the radio spectrum. So that is why uh, the person, anybody who is using a radio device to communicate with someone over a one way or a two-way radio, that is quite different from that of this. But many a times even that one way, or which we normally call as walkie-talkie, so it sometimes even intercepts the AM and FM radio signals. Okay, so this is how radio waves work. So in the next class we will be discussing about microwaves. So till then, I am signing off. Thank you.